All right, we are looking at more of Forever Young by Brandi Carlile. We're just going to jump on in. I've been doing this for a couple days now, but it'll be a nice little review. So, just going to start with the verse. We'll do the intro at some point. Just making sure both my streams are running. Yes, they are. All right, cool. So, yeah, I'm going to do right hand, left hand. I'm going to do the first kind of like chord run through, little progression that she has. So here it is. 3, 4, and all right, after that we have an A minor chord to an F. The second beat of the F only plays these three notes. 1. Take it from the A minor. So 1, 2, 1, 2. To a G, A minor, back to an F. All right, now here's where some things change. And again, this is like my third live video. Well, obviously it's number 3, and it happens to be number 3 on this song. So I probably won't like go into too in depth of, hey, this is the chord I'm playing and all that stuff. I'll do it when it interests me or when I think it's relevant. Distracted. One sec. Oh, it's confused. Okay. Anyway, now I can see everything I need to see. So I'll probably do it when it's interesting or relevant, or I feel like I haven't dived into it enough. Otherwise, if you need to, go to the first one, and I spend more time on each chord and breaking stuff down. All right, so the measure that gets me the most in the right hand is going to be this D minor measure. We got 1, or actually, so it'd be 1, 2, and 3. Let's do that a couple times. So we got 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Cool. Let's do that on a loop. 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 3, 4. Good. Let me make one little adjustment because my camera's not focusing because it can't see me. There it does. Okay. I just need to work on that D minor for a minute. 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1. So then let's take it from that F before that. So we got this 2. Oops. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So let's get that with the metronome and get a nice little loop going. 3 and 4 and 1. Oops. 2, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Back to F. 1, 2. And then let's just jump into left hand because that's the part left hand wise that I have the hardest part putting those two things together. So we'll do that same thing starting from this F. So we got 1, 2. We got this 1 and 2. And then 3 and 4 and kind of choosing to work through my weak stuff first. You know, if I can resolve some of these issues, then when I run through this whole phrase, it'll be a little bit easier for me. So nice and slow. We got 1, 2, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and again 1, 2, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 2, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and okay. So got that idea in my head. Again, you know, this is my first horizontal and vertical at the same time. So bear with me as I get the technology up and running. And I'm probably going to be a little redundant because it's been a day since I practiced. So I kind of have to get these ideas reiterated in my head. So, but I think I can do this whole measure. So we got 1, 2, and 3, 4, and I'm just going to make this into a little loop. All right, let's do that. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3. Wrong chord. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Now, I'm not going to be too picky today because I'm kind of like just getting back into it. One thing that I noticed, and it's just something I got to pay attention to, is lifting up my left hand on beat 2 versus the end of 2, right? Or it should be right before. It's a breath. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now, this is me being ultra picky, but I do the same thing on like acoustic guitar too. Or even electric. I leave before I have to. So listen to both hands together. A little bit of hesitation, not terrible by any means. It's, again, me just being picky and having a lot of caffeine in my life. So I'm going to ignore that. You can ignore it as well if you want to. All right, so yeah, let's just do these measures one by one again. So we got 1, 2, and 3, 4, and again, the only difference is on that F, lifting that one finger. Not too big of a difference. All right, let's get a loop like that going. 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 Let's fix that timing just a little bit. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and So now if I'm teaching this in a lesson or if I'm working through this myself, depending on where my brain's at and like what I'm thinking about, I'd put those two measures together, or I'd be like, fuck it, let's add the next two. Today, let's put these two measures together. So we got 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and... Now, I actually probably do have this more memorized than I give myself credit for. But sometimes, I make little errors in my left hand. If you notice them, you can call them out. Or, maybe I notice them as well. Oftentimes in that A minor, I like to do that. I like to play that whole chord. So, just little things to watch out for. All right, let's do a couple. 3, 4, A minor. 1, 2, and 3. Back to C. These next two measures are pretty easy. We're going from this G chord, left hand chord. We're going 1, 2, and then F. F being that measure of 2, 4. Let's do it again. Cool. Let's try those first 4 measures. So we got 1, 2, and 3. 4 and 3, 4 and G, 2, 3, 4 down to that F. 2. And I'm purposely leaving out that D minor for right now because it's hard for me. 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2 back to C. Cool. So, this being the third time I've done this and me working a little bit on this on my own, it's really connecting that F to D minor. The D minor just obviously has more stuff going on, right? Actually, let's do a very small loop for this. And I think focusing on my left hand. So, right hand's going to go 1. See, already. Let's take it from the F. So, we got 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. So I'm trying to keep a small loop so I can just really focus on kind of memorizing this, but kind of just like knowing. I guess that's the same thing, memorizing and knowing. We're going to 40. I'm going to go so slow that I'm forced to just think about it. And let's just do this. So I'm going to try to do, and I do this on drums a lot, right hand, left hand together. And usually I'll fall apart on the together. So we'll see if I do here. Also, that camera's not focusing. There we maybe go. Maybe. Bah. All right. So we'll do right hand, and we're going 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Left hand. 2, 1, and 1, 2, 1, and I might have to go 1, 2, 1, 2, because that's throwing me off a little bit. But I like the idea. It's a lot to think about. As most people know, playing piano, getting right hand and left hand to work together is kind of one of the hardest challenges. And when they have like what I would call a competing rhythm, it just throws your brain a little bit. All right, let's see if I can get this going. 2, 1, 2, 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and left hand, 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and oh yeah. All right, let's do this by ourselves a couple times. So we got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and gotta remember to go there. 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and cool. And 2 and 1 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 So as you can probably tell, I'm just trying to do this on a loop over and over again. The place where I can just almost shut my brain off and I just get this muscle memory down. So all of a sudden when I have to put this into context of the song, my brain goes, I know it. I just, innately know what's going on. Best thing to do on a part like this that just takes a little bit of mental power. And 2 and 1 and 2 and do that 100 times, you're going to know it. Let's do a couple more. 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 So now we have to add 3 and 4 and so we're going. And then it's just going. Wondering how to practice that. I guess let's do it without metronome first. So we got this 2, and I'm going to count this through a couple times just to really get that timing down of where the beats are landing. 1, 1. So counting the eighth notes helps me as well because we have a lot of eighth note stuff going on in the next measure. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and pretty sure I'm late on 4. We'll find out when we do it with metronome. So a couple more just to build understanding, build confidence. And 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and yeah. All right, let's try that whole section. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and brain froze. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 So now I'm just to the part where I'm like overwhelmed with it. Just putting it all together. So let's do a couple without. Usually chilling for a second and talking it out helps me. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now again, it's easier too without doing it with metronome, right? I'm allowed to like have a little flow to it that I don't have when I do it with metronome. Metronome causes me to think. Now that thinking and that ticking clock helps you to get better. And 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's do a couple more. So that time I did it without thinking, which is kind of cool. It's connecting those dots. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all right, back to metronome a couple more times. And then we're going to try to put that together. And 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 1 feel like I beat that part into submission. Let's get rid of that 40. And we should really try it at 45, and then I'll put that whole section together. I was going to be like, let's do the whole section. And that was probably going to be a mistake. I'm going to give myself this measure to kind of like relax and turn around. All right, let's do it by ourselves first, too. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4. Now, the thing is, muscle memory just took over because I was like, shit, I don't remember how to play that at all. I don't know how to play it in context, right? I know how to play it. Context. Muscle memory took over. That's why I'm willing to spend that much time on a small section like that and just beat it. Pick your battle, right? If I beat it in my head, I won't do this for another week or so. It's getting the idea. It's learning it, getting it to the close to exhaustion with learning it, and then pulling back. You know, I'm going to do this a couple times, this section, and then if anything, I'm going to do the intro. Kind of ignore what I've been working on and give myself something new. Otherwise, I'm going to burn out. All right, now I have to do that all with metronome. So we'll see how this works out. And 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to try to land on that C because I have to anyway, right? So I just played. Good thing to practice, it seems. Watch my rushing on that. 3, 4. The other place I need to really watch my rushing, though, is getting... the F I don't hold long enough. 1 and 2 and... couple times without much room. Fell apart. It was good though. The first time was good. Slow it down. Down to F. And 1 and 2 and 3 and. All right. So here's what I'm thinking. Could I learn the intro or learn more of this verse? Ooh. Let's tackle the intro. It'll be enough of a brain stretch to do the intro and then call it a day on this song. Or piano, I should say. So let's take this 45. We got a lot of 16th notes in here, so let's do that 40. So one hand at a time. And again, on all of this, we're kind of ignoring that pedal. There's a lot of sustain throughout that we're just ignoring. We'll add that in later. So we're starting on this low C. So we're going 1 E and 1. All right, 1 E and 2 E. All right, let's see if I can count that out and play at 40 BPM nonetheless. So kind of a big spread for your hand. 1. That G has messed me up. 1 E, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3. So how does that fit inside 40? Part of me doesn't think that's 40. Might be 40 now. 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Now these next two beats are all like ghost notes that are happening, right? We're going 1. So rhythmically kind of the same idea though. So we'll see how I do on that little flamish ghost note. I guess ghost note is not a flam. 1 E and then we're doing that same thing on 3. It's going to be a little bit easier when I add my right hand in because it's going to kind of direct where the downbeat is. 1 E and 2 E and that F chord is going to F, C, F. Yep. 3 and then just an F. 3. So 3. Let's see how that's gonna go though. So A E A. I gotta think of that timing. So actually, I'm gonna ignore the ghost note for a hot second and just get that 1 E and 2 E and then. let's see if I can hear that ghost note on each of these beats. 3, 2, 3 E and 4 E and 1. So they're going to be a little questionable, like I said, until I get both hands together, and then it kind of plays off at the idea enough, and it does this in the second half of the verse as well. Right? You get this. Which still, I'm going to have to spend time practicing. So it'd be 1, 3, yep. 1, and that's as far as I'm going. What is? All right, yeah. Well, let's do one hand at a time. Otherwise, I'm gonna get ahead of myself. And then we got the 3, 3, 3 E and 4 E and. All right, so let's see if we can represent that. 1 E and 3 E and 4 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E. Also, now those notes are holding out and I'm holding them out. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So not much of a ghost note yet. It'll come in time. Just gotta hear where it lands, right? Like know where it lands enough to go. Which is good work to do because you're gonna have to do it in the verse anyway. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And then you got your 3 and 4 So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2. And all right, now let's see if we can take from that C, which will also help me like having a lead into this idea. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and all right, not perfect by any means, but the idea. So actually, with where I'm at right now, I think it's just get the idea of these measures down in both hands and then call it, or even just in this left hand and call it. So this D minor, 1 and 2 and, or 1 and 2 and down to an A minor. So back to that. We got, I'm probably going to play with like this. 1 and then 2 and, so D minor, 1 E. All right, so 16th notes, 8th notes. I'm going to start counting 8th notes, then I'm going to move to 16th notes because it's just kind of more comfortable. So we got 1 and 2 and down to that A minor, 1 E, 1 E and 2. So it's 3 E and right? See, this is my brain falling apart after like 40 minutes of running through this, which is, I say this to students a lot. It's do a, this is a 40-minute practice, probably be like 45 by the time we're done. That's really what my brain can handle on like one instrument. If I'm going over 45, it's kind of garbage time, which is neither good nor bad. In football, it's actually a good thing. You can just run up the score. Sometimes I can get into a groove where I'm like, all right, I understand this part. I'm not learning anything new. I'm just reiterating the part over and over again. That's better. It's not where I'm at in this song, right? It's a little bit more challenging for my piano skill set. So now I'm just like, hey, can I add on a little bit more? So next rehearsal, I'm not starting this from scratch. I'm actually starting this fresh. My whole point though is two-a-days. If you can get two-a-days in, and right now my schedule doesn't allow that, that's the biggest chance for growth. When you've hit something for 15, 20 minutes, even 30, and then come back to it at night. And I'm going to try to do that. This I'm learning for a student, so I'm putting a little bit more effort into this one. Later today I'm going to do a guitar live, and I'm going to do a drum live as well. But that's my rambling. All right, let's do a little bit more of this, and then we're going to call it a day on piano. 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4. So I got to do that 3 and because I don't think about it. 3 E and 4. And then a lot coming from that D minor, wanting to play with these two fingers because it helps me. So 3 E and 4 and 3 E and 4 now from the D, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a little sloppy. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 down to an F. 1. So it's kind of just going, what is it doing? Oh yeah, it's an F on top as well. So we got that ghost note, 1 and 2 and then G, G to D, 1 and up to a higher G. So again, some of these I have to think through, right? It's the smarter way for me to play that. And then we're at the beginning of the song. If I didn't screw anything up. Oh, it's... See, all of a sudden now my brain doesn't even work. And I think I've been playing some of that in a lower register. All right, all things I need to work on and figure out and see what I did wrong when I started this song. So yeah, I've been going too low on some of those notes. All right, well, I'm going to rehearse that. I'm going to work on that. I'll probably just do another live because there's really, at this point, no reason to practice unless I'm doing a live. No, I shouldn't say it that way. It's more valued practice doing a live because you guys get to learn along with me and see the mistakes that I've made. As always, if you guys need the sheet music or want to help support us, become a member at musicbythemeasurespro.com. We appreciate all your guys' support. And that's all I have to say. You guys have a good rest of your day.